Let's talk about this, shall we? Now, if you have been on Twitter in the past 1 to 2 days, especially within the Final Fantasy XIV or the streamer community, you've probably seen quite a few streamers, partnered streamers, popular streamers, etc., who have begun to speak out about the topic of players being bullied because they are Lalafels. Now, this is something that has happened in the community for a significant amount of time. In my year and a half playing, I have seen it repeatedly. I've seen it perpetuated. We're just here to talk about that. Now, this discussion came about after an individual who does play a Lalafell described their experiences of playing the game. An example of a few things they experienced was being made fun of by their FC, having really vile, horrible tells and messages of other players accusing them of not too pleasant things. This is just some. One influential streamer who also spoke out about this was Spoofy. Now, we all know that they are a Lalafell primarily. They are a Lalafell VTuber as well, and they are definitely one of the most welcoming, sweetest individuals I have ever had the pleasure to interact with. And they also discussed this as well, that they had seen the haha Lalafells are evil then devolve into death threats, physical violence, that kind of behavior, which is disgusting and awful, that players are being ridiculed for literally playing a really adorable character, that are very expressive, very cute. Their emotes are really well done. I'm really shocked actually that this is such a deep-rooted issue within the community. Now, I believe this stereotype, the whole Lalafels are evil, perhaps has come from the story. So in A Realm Reborn, we know, if you have played the story, that the Lalafels are very centric to the ending of A Realm Reborn, and they are definitely pictured as evil, but that does not mean players are. And I don't know if this stereotype has just been like crossed over towards players. I don't really know that much of the history. I haven't really dived too much into it. Just from that snippet of the story, in comparison to all the other good examples, that has just been fixated on and then spread to the player base. I'm a little unsure myself if this is right or wrong, but this is what I'm theorizing at the moment. A good friend of mine and another streamer within the FF14 community called Dad TV, when he fantasied into a Lalafell, he also experienced this kind of weird bullying within the game, whereby he was kicked from parties, he was told to make a real character, or to just quit the game for being a Lalafell. And I'm sure prior to this, when he has played Aurora, Viera, etc., the other races, I hadn't heard of any kind of explicit behavior like this going towards those kind of characters. So once again, this emphasizes the fact that it seems very particular with Lalafells. It's a very weird situation that it is bullying and overall really toxic behavior from the FF14 community, and it needs to stop. These kind of situations should not be happening. It shouldn't matter what players their characters. I personally find Lalafells really adorable. I don't main one, but I do have a Lalafell character over on Primal, and I think she's adorable. For my personal experiences of this, I have had friends who have fantasied into Lalafells, and then a lot of the jokes and harassment has been sent their way repeatedly, so over days at a time, and then they have felt like they've needed to Fantasia off Lalafell because they did not receive that kind of harassment and bullying prior. Been informed that this does also happen to other players as well, so it is not an isolated incident. There are multiple people coming forward, just the player base, just within the streaming community as well, because I imagine people have come into their chats and said these kind of comments or made these kind of comments. And the point is if you're experiencing these comments in game a lot, if you're experiencing this every time you say, oh, I play Lalafell in a Twitch chat, and then you are bombarded by these kind of comments of just Fantasia or play a different character or race, you're going to be kicked. The whole like yeeting and kicking potatoes is is also a thing that has been happening. And even this kind of community headspace, I have also been affected by it as well. I do not do that now. I try to not do that as much as possible because the kind of headspace is there. Like if you're being told these kind of messages a lot, told these comments, it becomes difficult to fully separate it, but that headspace still affected me, and I'm correcting that behavior now. But the important part is this is still a widespread community issue that needs to stop, because it is turning into bullying players because of their characters, and that is awful and so extremely toxic. It needs to stop. Stop hating on Lalafells. I don't know if anyone else can relate, if anyone else can share their experiences or have witnessed something similar. It's just how it is. We should not be doing this. We should be better as a community. Thanks, guys.